So hey, so that was I stopped with the ear thing, right? Okay, so next I used to have fibroids. So only the women know maybe about this, maybe some real compassionate and intuitive and loving men know. But I had fibroid tumors and they used to be so bad. Oh my God, they were so bad. I used to crawl, 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 crawl on the floor. For those of you who don't know what this video is about, if you're just tuning in, I'm talking about the miracle working God. I mean, and how he really, if you are a true child of God, and how he answers your prayers, and all you have to do is believe and have other people who have this tightness with our Father, and if you have that relationship, that He will make it. He'll make sure that He answers the prayers. And sometimes He says yes, sometimes He says nah, and then sometimes He says, well, not right now. Okay, but either way, He answers your prayers. So now I had talked about being paralyzed from the waist down, never to walk again, and having and obviously walking. And then I talked about the ear infection that I had. So now I'm going to talk about the fibroids. I did not know what was happening. Every month I was in pain. I had to crawl, crawl, crawl. So anyway, they sat me down at Upstate Medical Center. They did a sonogram, and they were very huge. Fibroid tumors. They were going to have to remove them. So they scheduled the surgery. After a couple of weeks, they brought me in again to look at a video on how it all works, and then they had to do another sonogram. So when they did the sonogram, they said, well, we don't have to do anything because they've shrunk into little itsy bitsy teeny tiny itsy little tiny marbles. Though they were so little they weren't even worth taking them out. And I know that there was some kind of diet that you could do and food that you could eat, but I didn't do any of that. Again, my mother and my aunt and everybody at the church, they just kind of prayed. And I probably scared myself, and because again, believing in self-healing didn't help, didn't hurt either. Okay, so that was the fibroids. And then another time, when I was living here in Yonkers, we bought a place in Yonkers on North Broadway, 377, and every time I went to sleep, me and my fiance at the time, he would wear his white t-shirt, and I would, of course, wear a top. But every morning we woke up, we were bloody. I mean, like someone had just come in and just kind of stabbed us. But we weren't in any pain, but this blood was everywhere. So we're trying to figure out what is going on. So we couldn't figure out what it was. We didn't know where the blood was coming from. It wasn't our mouths. It wasn't anything like that. You know how sometimes you think you have a bad tooth or something, or, it wasn't a lip. It wasn't like anybody got punched in the mouth during the course of sleeping bad or anything. I always slept on his chest, so, the blood would be there. We didn't know what it was. So one day I'm in class, because I was taking some classes at the time. The school, Elizabeth Seton, was down the street. And so I was taking some classes, and I remember sitting in class. It was wintertime. And I remember feeling this wetness in my bra, this left breast, and all this blood was coming into the cup, because blood would be in my, and I noticed it was blood in my cup because I didn't say anything, but we still didn't know where it was coming from. So now I know where it's coming from, because I'm sitting there, the teacher's talking, and the blood is seeping through my shirt, my blouse, my sweater, whatever it is I was wearing. So then I ran home and I said, oh my God, I said to my boyfriend, fiance at the time, and he says, oh my goodness. So anyway, I ended up going to the doctor, and my doctor, my general practitioner, and I, we were like two peas in a pod. When we first met, we did not get along, because he had an attitude, and I wanted to know, you got a problem? If you got your terrible bad side manner, I don't like it. If you have a problem with, me as your patient, then you need to let me know now so I can find somebody else. And after that, he and I got along real well. We joked and we laughed, and he became like real buddies, and I can't remember his name. He was the best. But anyway, that was at Kaiser Permanente in White Plains. So anyway, normally we fool around and act crazy and joke with each other, and but this time when he checked my breast, he grabbed the pad. He grabs his pad and he's like, don't worry, Ivy, you're gonna be okay. All serious and everything. I'm like, what's going on? I ain't never seen him serious before. So sure enough, he says, you have to see a surgeon right away. And he gives me the name of a surgeon, tells me I have to go immediately. I go immediately to the surgeon. She tells me, oh my goodness, I have a mammogram. They're thinking that, they see a spot, they got to remove it, but also the ducts, because the ducts around the nipple were damaged as well. I think I had 4 damaged ducts, which was causing me to bleed. So anyway, just before the surgery, they have to do another mammogram, just like they had to do another sonogram with the fibroid. So they did a mammogram, and then, mind you, these are years apart, all of them. So they do the mammogram, and it's cold in the room, of course, because I got to go down to surgery. The doctor is waiting in the OR, so they have to prep me for the OR. So they took the mammogram and they said, Miss Reeves, could you have a seat here? We have to go downstairs and, speak with the surgeon. So I said, okay. So I'm sitting there freezing, They said, and I said, is everything okay? They said, well, whatever was there isn't there anymore. So I'm like, okay, I think that's a good thing. So they go downstairs and they put me on the stretcher anyway. And the doctor was so angry because she was like waiting because she had surgery after surgery after surgery. I guess maybe they're angry because they probably figured, look, I already promised these people that they were going to be adding another room to my house. So whatever the reason was, I'm not saying that's what it really was, but as a joke, I just say they must be had to add another room. So anyway, she comes upstairs and she said, listen, we're not going to have to go inside your breast and do anything. They said, but we are going to remove the bloody ducts that are around it because we don't see the spot that was there. Well, praise Jesus, okay? Praise Jesus. So now they can just take me down and remove the ducts, and everything was wonderful, and that they did a great job. And, doctors are funny because once they get finished with you, you come back for your follow-up, they're like, oh, yes, oh, that's so perfect. Oh, that's a great job. Patting themselves on the back. I'm glad I'm patting you on the back, too, because you did a great job. It's my body, okay? So that was another time. So between the paralyzation and the inner ear and the fibroids and then the breasts, okay, but thinking that I had, I'm telling you, there have been so many things, okay, like when I worked for city council, I have something called a gastric volvulus where my stomach completely flips, okay. It's very, very rare. It's a very rare condition. And a lot of people don't have it. And people who are born with it usually don't live very long, but... Juanita Crosby. Hold on one second. I got a call coming through. Just a minute. So you never know when somebody's going to call. So it is what it is. So I think I told you guys almost everything. So one of the last things that happened to me is... my mom died in 1992, and she was my best buddy, best friend. I was young when I lost my mother, but then I also have 2 younger sisters. One's 10 years younger, one's 12 years younger, and I have a younger brother who's only 14 months younger, and I had an older sister who passed away in 2012, who's 7 years older. So we're like all over the map. But anyway, my mother was funny. I was raised by women. My grandmother raised me until she passed away in Birmingham, Alabama. And then we went to live with my aunt in Birmingham until they were able to. The family owned 400 acres of land in Alabama. And my mother, my aunt, and my uncle, they sold 199 acres of the land, and we were able to buy property in New York where my mother had gone. Anyway, long story short, I really didn't get to be with my mother until I was 10 years old, and she was pregnant with one of my younger sisters. The thing is that when you're young and you're coming from people who take care of you, you're not like any of the kids today. It was very difficult in Birmingham. It was a very mean and hateful city. The city that I'm in right now is mean and hateful also, but they're just a little more covert about theirs. But they were right in your face there. So everybody knows about Birmingham. Those who don't know about Birmingham, you need to look up Birmingham during the Civil Rights Movement, and you also need to look up Brick by Brick here in Yonkers. So I went from down south to up south, but you know what? We continue. But this is about my health. So when my mom died, it was the most, when you lose a mother, it's like, okay, so you can say to people, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. Oh, I'm so sorry you lost your mom. Oh, I'm so sorry." You can be sincere about it, but man, until you lose your own mother, it's a whole nother world, and you are never prepared. I don't care if she's sick. I don't care if she's healthy. My mother was barely 60 years old. Okay. And I lost my mother. And she was funny. I mean, everybody in my family had a great sense of humor, which is how I'm able to keep up with everything, because I can make a joke out of anything that happens, because you can't take yourself but so seriously. And really, you gotta laugh at other people when they try to hurt you, because there's no way people can hurt you without hurting themselves, because it always comes back. That's why a lot of times I say, I'm just going to move out of God's way, because if you're in God's way, he can't take care of those people that are bothering you if you're trying your hardest to get back at them. But once you move out the way, slowly but surely, you start to see things happening. You start to see things happening. And I don't wish no harm on anybody. I really don't. So anyway, back to what happened. So after my mom died, about 6 months later, I got really sick. I was running these little fevers, and my hair. I was about to do a hair show in the Bronx, believe it or not. This girl wanted me to do a hair show because my hair would do anything you asked it to do. Honestly, I mean, if you said jump my hair would say how high. So I was getting ready to do a hair show. They wanted to put in those magazines where people pick. So this one guy, he was gay, he was funny. He said, "Girl, I know why women are jealous of you and your hair, because your hair is fierce, this thing. It will do whatever you want it to do." And 4 months later, I'm waking up, the hair is on the pillow, I'm weak, I can't even walk to the bathroom. If I wash my hair, it was coming out in clumps. I could just pull it. They thought I had alopecia, but it wasn't alopecia. I was getting these needles in my head, and I remember one time I said, "Oh God." And we had bought a house in Poughkeepsie. Then we left Yonkers and bought a house after I got the other two girls, my stepdaughters. Anyway, long story short, all of my hair came out. I did an article for Essence Magazine called "My Hair Is Not My Glory," because I wanted black women particularly to know that even though you may lose your hair doesn't define who you are. Your character, your integrity, who you are, is what's inside of you, not what's outside of you, But it is what it is, So anyway, I ended up losing all my hair. I was bald headed. When I went to this doctor in Fishkill, he said, "You might as well get used to it, Miss Reeves. Women lose their hair just like men. And, so women just might as well get used to it." He was very nasty, very funky with it. "You might as well get used to it. Women have male pattern baldness just like men, and da 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 da. Your hair's never going to grow back." He took a magnifying glass. I'll never forget this. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I have a magnifying glass up here. But he took He took a magnifying glass, and he says, "I don't see any hair follicles. I don't see any hair follicles. There's no hair follicles there. Your hair is never going to grow back." So I left and I went home. And that was that. I said, well, I'm going to be bald. I'll wear wigs. I'll wear wraps, whatever it is that I have to do. Everybody in my family has hair. Everybody in my family will have long nails. And everybody in my family, all the women had big behinds. So those were the three things that we always carried with us as women in the family. Anyway, long story short. So I used to have to wear all these wigs, and I remember going to this one particular, I guess it was Korean, I don't know, Asian shop, and I would always go there to get my wigs, because in the wintertime you can't go, and I never liked wigs, I never liked hats or anything, but I had no other choice. It's cold in Poughkeepsie in Dutchess County, so I went and I got myself a wig, and I would get them all the time from the same place. So one day I'm there, and there's 4 wigs, and buying a wig was a big to-do when you didn't have any hair. And I had the double-sided tape, so the wigs never really pulled off. They didn't move, because at first, you get a wig with a bang to it. By the time it's long and somebody hugs you, the bang then went from here to here. Next thing you know, the bang is all the way up here. Anyway, I couldn't be bothered with that, so they told me about the double-sided tape, which I used because I was clean shaven, clean ball. Anyway, so I'm trying on these wigs, Okay, let me come back. I did 15 minutes. Hold on.